you make some noise?
So I guess they have to clap their hands and cheer for their corresponding universities.
So are you ready, guys? Okay, may we call on the University of the Philippines, Diliman.
Wow. Pero parang mas madami pa sila doon. Senior de Manila
De La Salle University.
We have Central Luzon State University.
Institute of Technology.
Mindanao State University Iligan.
University of the Philippines, Los Baños.
Last but not the least, University of San Carlos. So we welcome you all to the 4th ERDT Congress with the theme of Agriculture and Science and Technology for Inclusive Growth. And this is brought to you by the Engineering Research and Development for Technology with its lead agriculture consortium member universities, the University of the Philippines Los Baños and Central Luzon State University.
To continue with the program, let us welcome the Mapua Cardinal Singers for and National Anthem. May we rise for our doxology and national anthem. Thank you very much.
Sing praises to his name, he forgets not his own. Beside us to guide us, our God with us join, ordaining, maintaining his kingdom divine. So from the beginning, the Lord was at our side. All glory be thine, glory be thine, glory be thine. We'll extol thee, thou leader triumphant, and pray that thou still our defender will be. Let thy congregation escape tribulation, thy name be ever praised. O Lord, our name. Bayang magiliw, pelas ng silanganan, hanap ng putibig mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka masisig. Sa langit mong bakaw, may dilang ang tuna at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning, ang bituin ng araw na kailan, ay
Thank you very much, Mapua Cardinal Singers. We may now take our seats. To formally welcome the participants of this Congress and also our guests, Dr. Aura C. Matias, the program ER for our welcome remarks. Let us give her a round of applause.
The Honorable Secretary Mario Montejo of the Department of Speaker Bora Pica, Engineer Rex Bingabing from the Department of Agriculture, Professor Makoto Hoki of Meiji University, Japan, our visiting professor, and Dr. Ariel Blanco, Program Leader of the PhilLider 2 program, and deans of the ERDT Consortium, as well as our track heads for the ERDT R&D track programs, all our ERDT scholars, our friends from industry and government, welcome to our fourth ERDT Congress with the title Agriculture and Science and Technology for Inclusive Growth. In the Philippines, agriculture plays a crucial role in achieving sustainable growth, with the manufacturing and services sector depending largely on agriculture as a source of raw materials for production. Agriculture sector employs a significant number of Filipinos. However, its national economic contribution still needs a boost to effect and impact on the country's growth. This sector remains continuing different disciplines such as science and to contribute to its advancement. Realizing the necessity to channel our collective efforts to the Engineering for Technology, or ERDT, with 34 MS and 4 PhD graduates, still have a long way to go to reach the marks and targets that we wish for our critical mass of MS and PhDs. Hopefully, many of you will be graduating in the next years or so on time and being able to contribute to the science and technology The ERDT is looking forward to more scholars earning their graduate diploma, conducting research works that are aligned with our national development agenda. To all the participants of this year's Congress, may we use this platform to engage in fruitful discussions and forge possible collaborations that will lead to a more productive and globally competitive agricultural sector. Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat.
Thank you, ma'am, for those wonderful words of welcome. And to move on with the program, we have our opening remarks to be given by Dr. Reynaldo V. Evora, the Acting Executive Director of the Philippine Council for Agriculture, Aquatic and Natural Resources, Research and Development. Please help me welcome Dr. Reynaldo V. Evora.
Secretary Mario Montejo, Undersecretary Rowena Cristina Guevara, Dean Aurea Matias, the ARDT Program Leader, Dr. Makoto Hoki of Meiji University, Japan, distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, magandang hapon. Good afternoon. Greet our esteemed colleagues in the scientific community and most especially for technology or ARDT scholars from the 8 member universities of the ERDT Consortium. Thank you for availing the program and believing in the aim of ERDT to produce qualified and globally competitive researchers, scientists, and engineers. I would like to commend ERDT because since its creation, the consortium has strived to deliver high-impact researchers aligned with the country's National Science and Technology Plan and the Medium-Term Development Plan. With the graduates produced under the program, help in upgrading the qualifications of practicing engineers and in developing a culture of research and development among them. In the last 6 years, ERDT has successfully laid the footprint and model for a successful engineering research program in the country. The level and quality of research have also improved of funded research works and papers accepted in refereed journals and conferences. ERDT continues to increase the number of graduates and contribute to the realization of SNT plan of the country. I believe the program is on the right track and should be continuously reviewed fruits towards value-adding in the near future through this human resources improvement for research. Given the upcoming transformation of the ASEAN into a single economic market, which is actually this, there is urgency in harnessing the talent pool of Filipino engineers and focusing them on activities. Along with its counterpart program for the science and technology, human resource development program, or ASTHRDP, from the foundation economic has always been working to boost the number of science professionals that will help us in our drive for inclusive and holistic growth. The tendency for inclusive growth is very timely. We are very optimistic that together with the SNT and agricultural specialists, the scholars will soon help us in creating SNT-based solutions for our many national concerns, such as we are experts who have prepared presentations on different challenges and opportunities for science and technology and agriculture to work together towards achieving inclusive growth in the country. Again, congratulations to the organizers of this event for a job well done, and may we all have a fruitful day ahead. A pleasant afternoon to all of you. Maraming pong salamat.
Thank you very much, Dr. Reynaldo Ebora. We may give you a token of appreciation, so we may call on Dr. Aura to give the token of appreciation and photos. Thank you very much, Dr. Aura and Dr. Ebora. Let us give them a round of applause.
Before we move forward to our keynote message by one of our distinguished guests, we would like also to acknowledge the presence of other distinguished guests here. So first of all, we would like to acknowledge officials. First off, we have Dr. Rowena Cristina L. Guevara for Scientific and Technological Services of the Department of Science and Technology.
To continue, we would like to recognize the presence of our ERDT project leaders. Dr. Augustus, the ERDT University of the Philippines, Diliman. Dr. Evangeline P. Bautista, project leader. Joa, project leader, ERDT De La Salle University. Dr. Rosemary R. Seva, former project leader of the ERDT De La Salle University. Dr. Ireneo C. Agulto, project leader, ERDT Central Luzon University. Dr. Jonathan W. L. Salvacion, project leader, ERDT Loptec. Attorney Edgar Alan A. Donasco, project leader, ERDT Mindanao State University. Dr. Arnold R. Elepaño, project leader, University of the Philippines, Los Baños. B. Tamboada, ERDT University of San Carlos.
For the Environment and Infrastructure R&D track, we have Dr. For the Information and Communication Technology track, R&D Dr. Ariel C. Blanco. For the Manufacturing and Machinery R&D track, Ralph S. Jose. And for the Semiconductor Materials and Electronics R&D track, we have Dr. Magdaleno R. Vasquez Jr. Also, we want to acknowledge the partners from the government. Okay, so now we have our keynote speaker. So we have the Secretary of Science to talk about agricultural competitiveness and innovation. Please help me welcome our Honorable Mayor.
Thank you. Dr. Rowena Guevara, and Technology Services Guard, and to all the other USC officials, distinguished speakers, Engineer Rex Bingabing, Philippine Center for Development and Mechanization, Dr. Makoto Huki, Professor Emeritus, Dr. Arnel Blanco, Program Leader of Field Leader 2, to all the guests present here today, research and development, or ERDT scholars, faculty members, the connector, magandang umaga o hapon po sa inyo lahat. I would like to give my warmest congratulations to ERDT for organizing the 4th Congress of Engineering of UP, the leader of the ERDT, for spearheading this event. Agriculture and Science and Tech for Inclusive Growth. It's very timely for this situation. The ERDT scholars have the great opportunity to learn from the different researchers, academicians, and experts from the sector, enrich their experience and knowledge on possible contribution engineering can provide to the pressing concerns in the agricultural sector, which greatly security, increasing world population have been major global issues and innovation has been trying to address for decades. Tools, know-how, and information generated through SNT can help that will meet the increasing world's demand. These days, it is not enough to come up with solution on a particular concern, but to address all aspects of the problem to avoid its recurrence. In the context in the Philippines and in Asia, in all areas like economic, environment, and others, will result in improved livelihood and ultimately inclusive growth. For reducing inequality, development, and political stability. Agriculture remains to be a vital sector of the Philippine economy. It does not only provide food, but also provide raw materials and other products used in manufacturing. It provides employment to about 12 million Filipinos. However, the farmers and fisher folk are among the poorest of the poor in the country, choosing its competitiveness. With the coming ASEAN integration, we need to prepare ourselves for competing with various agricultural products offered by our ASEAN counterparts. The challenge for us as the DOST Council in Agriculture, Aquatic sectors is to fund and useful to contribute to the improvement of markets for the Philippine agricultural products, eventually uplifting the lives of millions who depend on agriculture for their livelihood. This would mean improving productivity in all aspects of production. In this goal, it is also imperative to provide significant investment in the development of human capital. In a study conducted by the Commission on Higher Education, it was stated that in academic year 2013 and 2014, majority of graduating students from the business and medical were enrolled in business courses and around 20% were enrolled in medical and allied courses. Very few came from agriculture and other related courses. CHED is also encouraging incoming freshmen to enroll in what is regarded as in-demand courses for the year 2014-2018, which include agriculture, engineering, science and math, information technology, teacher education, and health sciences. Since 2010, the HRD program of PICARD has graduated 300 scholars and researchers, managers to train, benchmark on specific aspect of R&D management in different countries. PICARD has also trained or capacited scholars, researchers, research managers from 224 institutions nationwide on the various aspects of research and technology management. Of DOST, the department offers undergraduate and graduate scholars for a wide range of fields, expected to stimulate and entice talented Filipino youth to pursue lifetime productive careers in science and technology, or SNT. The scholarship program will ensure adequate supply of qualified SS which can steer the towards national progress, aiming to be able to have that critical mass of SNT manpower. It involves field on biology, chemistry, space science, microelectronics, and of course, agriculture. The scholarship as well as various degree training also help the candidate to produce personnel like farm manager and agri-preneur that are expert on technology inputs. DOA card this non-profile which aims to tap the ingenuity and expertise of Philippines and the SNT capabilities of local researchers in the academe, public and private sector to fast track the flow of new strategic technologies that are vital to national development. It is a government effort to reverse the effect of brain drain and to researchers and scientists whose expertise are not available at present locally. Since 2010, PICARD, as implementing arm of the Balik scientists in AANR sectors, has the expertise of four strength of agricultural technologies, innovation that are vital to national development. Gone are the days when farming is a back-breaking routine because raging. DOST through PICARD believes in the positive contribution of engineering and mechanization to the agriculture, aquatic, and natural resources. The council crafted industry strategic SNT program where gaps of the industry were identified to focus R&D efforts and to develop a specific SNT intervention. These ISP use a convergence of technologies approach to produce deliverables, which are world-class technologies, tools, and institutions. Through the ISP, some notable high-impact and world-class technologies and services are now breaking new grounds for the benefit of our stakeholders. ISP mechanization requirement of the various commodity-based industries such as rice, mango, peanut, feed resources, milkfish, sea cucumber, and shrimp, among others. PICARD developed a version to arm industries with technologies, machines and equipment, and systems to make them more productive and effective. R&D is useless if the output do not treat users, specifically those at the grassroots level, meaning the farmer. DOST and PICARD continuously intensify the agency's transfer program. PICARD embed its technology transfer activities in every R&D project or program that will chain of the commodity industries. The Pinoy SNT Services for Farmers and Entrepreneur, or PSF, was crafted to expand the reach of SNT products in the country. PSF focuses on PICARD commitment to delivery farmers and integrated technology transfer modality, addressing gaps in SNT on and through three key components. The first, SNT community-based farm. Second, the Technomart. And the third, the one-stop information system. The synergy of these three key components is expected to enhance the competitiveness of AANR-based technology products in the market. Meanwhile, its assistance to Filipino researchers, scientists and inventors and innovators in protecting every intellectual property or IP produced from R&D projects and programs. Competitiveness in agriculture, the ASEAN economic integration also paves way in the different manners of exchange of various innovation and ideas. Technological revolution has changed the way science and technology is and how it can implement society more. Beyond the power of technology, the use of technology, and understanding its profound influence and effects has become imperative in improving organizational level models and how business and social services are conducted and delivered. At the DOST, Picard has started establishing the Picard Innovation and Technology Center, or PITC. The center is envisioned to provide a venue for presentation, promotion, and commercialization of Picard S&T product. The PITC embodies Picard vision for a world-class, one-stop service facility where DOST and the agencies converge, offering major information communication services, technology transfer, commercialization services, and training capacity building. The PITC will serve as a Picard local institution with international research and development institution now operating in the ASEAN region. This new center enhances the livelihood and business opportunities in the agriculture and aquatic sectors that are important to both the Philippine and global economy. Again, I would like to thank ERDT for this opportunity. The Council commends and supports ERDT for continuously selling the future of engineering for the A&R sectors and inclusive growth. In closing, I would like to take this, all of you, including your colleagues, to visit us downstairs for the SMX, same facility SMX, for on the 24th and 28th for our National Science and Technology Week, wherein Picard will showcase their innovation in agri. Mabuhay, and magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mario G. Montejo. Now to award our token of appreciation, Dr. Aura Matias. Again, thank you very much. Let us now formally proceed with the Congress. Our first topic is on farm mechanization for food security. Our speaker, Engineer Rex L. Bingabing, is currently Director 4 of the Philippine Center for Post-Harvest Development and Mechanization. Engineer Rex L. Bingabing obtained his BS Mechanical Engineering degree from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Quezon City, and placed 10th in the 1998 Mechanical Engineering Licensure Examination. Currently, he serves as Director for Development and Mechanization, or PhilMech, of the Department of Agriculture. Prior to his appointment in PhilMech, he was an Assistant General Manager of R2M Construction and Engineering Services and a lecturer at the Mechanical Engineering Department of UP Diliman. His vast experiences expand wide latitudes of fields such as the design, fabrication, and/or installation of various engineering pieces. He also engaged in different technical consultancies to major industries in the country. Help me welcome Engineer Rex L. Bingabing. Let us give him a round of applause.
Okay, while we are preparing for the visual presentation, I would like first to, for those who are not aware of where I came from, the Philippine Center for Post-Harvest Development and Mechanization. It's agency under the Department of Agriculture, which is engaged in research extension of technologies in farm mechanization and post-harvest technologies. So most of you are researchers, so I think we in PhilMech also conduct a lot of research, particularly in the field of farm mechanization and post-harvest technologies. Okay, so I'll be talking about the importance of one of the things that we in our agency, farm mechanization. So importance of farm mechanization, attaining food security. Okay, so food security, as defined, is the availability and accessibility of sufficient, safe, and nutritious food at all times. When we talk of food security, we're not only talking of the volume or the availability of food, but also we talk about accessibility. People have access to the food, and not only are the quantity, but also should be sufficient, safe, and nutritious. So we talk also about the quality of the available food. Now, agriculture remains the prime source of food production, but in recent years, there had been some modern challenges facing the agricultural sector. So before, people are saying that there is actually sufficient food enough for everyone. The problem is the accessibility, inequality to access food. But because of the increasing population, the rate of population growth is not equal to the rate in food production. So we have to address this major issue. And also, the population is increasing, but our production area is decreasing because of industrialization. It's converted to some other use for residential, commercial, and industrial use. And we have aging families. So according to the study, the average age of a Filipino farmer is about 50 years old. And as mentioned a while ago by the secretary, the young generation are not encouraged to go into agriculture. And of course, there's an issue. So the weather patterns now, our planning and disrupt the traditional agricultural product to adjust and address these issues. Now, one of the uh, among the things that we should do to address these issues is go into mechanized farming and establish more post-harvest facility like mechanical dryers, efficient milling machines, cold chain to preserve the quality, and also infrastructure, irrigation, farm to market. Just to give you an idea on where our country is, mechanization level in agriculture. So we have you have here some selected countries in Asia, and if you look at the level of farm mechanization, which is measured in horsepower per hectare, we measure the mechanization level in terms of horsepower, the available horsepower, and divided by the available production area. We look at the Philippines. Currently, it is rated at 1.23 horsepower per hectare. And if we look at Japan already at a level of 18.87 horsepower per hectare. So medyo malayo na yung Philippines. Japan yun eh. So masyadong industrialized na yun. But if you look at our other countries na medyo ka-level ng Philippines, like for example, Thailand. Thailand is at 4.2. So it's still 4 times, almost 4 times more mechanized than the Philippines. So it's a contributory factor. Thailand produces rice more efficiently than the Philippines. Now, for the Philippines, we see that dominates the farm operation, and animals continue to dominate land preparation. So it's only now, though this may not be true in recent years, but it's only now that we are to use more tractors in land preparation. And this one is the third item is still very much prevailing in the countryside, which is sun drying. Sun drying is still preferred by our farmers, which is very inefficient compared to mechanical dryer. The powered machines are fairly accepted by farmers. Okay, so the highest mechanization or the highest level of mechanization here in the Philippines is land preparation. And the mechanization in transplanting and harvesting, and as efficient drying of our commodities, which is very critical in preserving the quality, and also inefficient milling. So most of our milling for rice and corn are old already, and we have to upgrade. Recognizing this, the importance of farm mechanization, the government in 2011 started the program on farm mechanization. So the benefits of, because we saw that the benefits of farm mechanization, it lowers production cost, increases cropping intensity, reduce post-harvest losses, and improves quality. So later on, I'll show you the effects of farm mechanization. Okay, so when we look at the post-harvest losses, according to a study conducted by Phil, the total, this is for rice, what you see here in the screens for post-harvest loss for rice is about 16.47%. Now, and it's broken down, these losses are broken down into the following operations: harvest, threshing, drying, milling, and storage. So when we say traditional, like for example, harvest, here in the Philippines, when we say traditional, this is the traditional manual reaping of the rice, and yung threshing naman is already mechanized. We use the mechanical threshers already. And drying, most of the dried palay are sun dried, and in the provinces, these are done in time. May joke nga na the Philippines holds the record for the long pavement kasi yung buong highway ginawang drying pavement. And efficient because you have a lot of losses if you do that. So yung mga nasisira because dinadaanan ng sasakyan, yung mga nililipad, and yung if we use mechanized if you use machines in these operations, like for example, we have this what we call combined harvester. This is a machine that does the harvesting or the reaping and threshing in one operation. So in a study by PhilMec conducted in Region 3, though the study is not yet complete, but preliminary data shows that if we use machines like the combined harvester, the total loss is reduced to 2.5 for the process to threshing. So if you look at our traditional method, yung threshing natin, yung harvesting natin all the way to threshing would incur about more than 4% loss. But if we use a combined harvester, it can be lowered to 2.5%. And for drying, if we use a mechanical dryer instead of the highway or sun drying, we are able to control the losses to 2%, and they say that it's even less. And if you use multi-pass machine, milling machine, these are the more efficient machine, we can lower further the losses incurred in milling. So we can lower the losses to less than 10%. In terms of we have a case here for transport to 20 per hectare as compared to using a mechanized transplanter, which what you see on your left or on my left or on your right. If we use a mechanical transplanter, you need only 2 to 4 man-days per hectare. So man-days meaning for an 8-hour operation, you need only 2 persons to cover 1 hectare. And for threshing, harvesting and threshing, again, for the traditional method of manual reaping, or harvesting, you have 12 to 16 man-days per hectare. And for threshing, 3 to 4 man-days per hectare. So all in threshing would require you about 15 to 20 man-days per hectare. But if you use the combined harvester, you need only 2 man-days per hectare. So you save a lot on the labor requirement, effectively lowering your production cost. Now, as I've said, there's a program to encourage our farmers to go into mechanized farming. The problem with why the farmers did not adopt mechanized farming, the issue on the investment cost. Of course, you have to invest in the machines. Farmers don't have the capacity to buy these new technologies, to buy these machines. So what the department did in 2011 was to have this farm mechanization program wherein the government would provide machineries for the farmers, for them to for us to showcase the benefits of mechanized farming and also to provide farmers access with these machineries. Okay, under the program started in 2011, the government would provide on-farm machineries like tractors, mechanical planters, threshers, reapers, mechanical harvesters, etc. And under this program, the government would provide 85% of the cost of these machineries, and the farmers, the beneficiaries who are farmer cooperatives would provide the 15% cost. Okay, so it's what we call the counterpart scheme. So the 85% would be covered by the government and 15% would be covered by the farmer beneficiaries. Also, we have the provision of post-harvest facilities like mechanical dryers and milling facilities. So for the milling facilities and the mechanical dryers, the government would shoulder 100% of the cost of the equipment, and the beneficiary would provide the land for production of this facility. So they would just provide the land. So that's the program. Now, the objective of the program is to raise farmers' productivity, reduce post-harvest losses, and enhance the competitiveness through increased access and use of appropriate production and post-production system. So this would contribute in attaining higher income of farmers and fisher folks and improving their quality of life. Now, this is just a sample of the target of the intervention of the government for 2014 to 2016. So it has been implemented from 2011. So what we have is the target for rice. So we have a program for farm mechanization commodities, for rice, for corn, for high value products. Now for rice, we allotted for a total of 8.6 billion pesos for the provision of farm machineries and post-harvest facilities. And if you will look at the right side, so the level of intervention out of the total projected 100% requirement of the entire Philippines to fully mechanize the agricultural sector, the percentage on the rightmost is just the income. So this is just a portion of the total requirement that is needed to say fully mechanize the agricultural sector of the Philippines. So the objective of the program naman is to the technologies, the modern technologies, not really to cover the entire requirement because the government certainly would not be able to do that. Also, another recent development in our agricultural sector is the Agriculture and Fisheries Mechanization Law, or what we know as the AFMEC law, or RA 106, an act promoting agricultural fisheries mechanization development in the country. This was signed into law in 20, and the IRR was also signed December 2013. So it's a relatively new law, and it is just now that we are beginning to implement the provisions of this law. Now, some of the major provisions of the law is the formulation of the National Agri-Fishery Mechanization Program by the Department of Agriculture, or what we call the NAFMP, National Agri-Fishery Mechanization Program. So the NAFMP shall have the following characteristics. It shall be formulated based on the aggregation of local and regional AFMEC plans. It shall include the general approaches and strategies to address the issues facing the agricultural and fishery mechanization. It shall take into account the gender, climate change, and environmental considerations. It shall serve as the overall agriculture and fishery sector mechanization program to guide in the planning, programming, budgeting, and monitoring of the Department of Agriculture. And it shall provide the direction for the NAFMEC RDE agenda and national training and scholarship programs of the AFMEC law. And it would be anchored in the 5 key result areas of the government: namely accountability and participatory. Number 2, poverty reduction and empowerment of the poor and vulnerable. Number 3, rapid, inclusive economic growth. Number 4, just and lasting peace and rule of law. And number 5, integrity of the environment and climate change adaptation and mitigation. And the objectives of the NAFMP would be to promote and support through the provision of research grants, credit, transparent and predictable regulation, the local manufacture of agricultural and fisheries machinery by the private sector. So it actually aims to encourage the local development and manufacture of agri-machinery, because right now, as it is right now, most of these machineries are all imported, coming from outside the country, and very few are really locally made. Then it will unify, lead, and support the efforts of various research, design, and development of agricultural and machinery. Now, right now, there are several institutions engaged in RDE, in mechanization technologies. So this aims to form a unified RDE agenda where all the efforts of the research institutions would be harmonized. Of quality, safety, and performance standards for agriculture and fisheries machinery. So there's a perception kasi na kapag locally made, it is substandard but we want to change that perception, and to ensure that there will be the establishment of quality and safety performance standards, and support the establishment of quality performance testing centers. So of course we have the standards, then there will be quality testing centers also to assure that these standards are being followed by manufacturers. Then establish guidelines for the registration of ownership of agricultural and fishery machinery. So the machineries would have to be registered for and or how these machineries are being utilized. Promote and last to promote the adoption of certified agricultural and fisheries mechanization. And these are the 5 components of the National Agri-Fisheries Mechanization Program. We have, as I've said, the local assembling and manufacture, research, development and extension, standards, regulations, support service, development, and human resource development. And the focal agency, the lead would, of course, be the Department of Agriculture, the Bureau of Agriculture and Fisheries Engineering, which is a new bureau created under this AFMEC law, and the APCAF AFMEC. So the 2 agencies are under the Department of Agriculture, and these are the other agencies identified to have roles in the implementation of AFMEC. Okay, so this is just a conceptual framework. We see the players, the 5 components, and the key results. The issues on mechanization, we have high initial cost and labor displacement. So whenever I go into a forum, I am always asked with these 2 concerns, particularly yung labor displacement. One of the answers our agency how to address this is yung number 1 is to localize the machineries and the technologies that we have. If we eventually localize most of this, then it would create additional opportunities, well, not necessarily in the agricultural production, but in other sectors like the manufacturing sector. all those that would be displaced. Of course, it wouldn't be sudden, but we would create opportunities for others, for the others who would be displaced. And of course, the establishment of agri-based enterprises. Now, just to give you some idea on what we do in Philmec, as I've said, we develop technologies for farm mechanization and post-harvest. So these are some of the projects. We have harvester, tractor harvester. This is a project uh, being done by MIRDC, DOST, and in partnership with our agency, and it's funded by PICARD. I think you'll be seeing that in the. So we also have the mechanical transplanter, also an attachment to the hand track. Advantage it has a lower cost compared to the commercially available. So this is also a project by DOST RDC in partnership with the Philmec. So in Philmec, we develop a seeder. So kapag manual, say for example, if you do seeding operation by manual, what you do is yung broadcasting na tinatawag, yung sinasaboy mo lang yung seeds because you are not able to do precision seeding because it would take some time. But because of the seeder, it allows you to have precision seeding, and in effect, you have because you are able to optimize the spacing of the seeds. So this is one of the results that we have for onions using the traditional method and the Philmec seeder. So you have an increase in yield than per hectare. We also developed the agricultural tramline, which is a conveying system for the areas cable car for those with no road network in the areas. This is a cheaper alternative compared to building a road network. We have projects on drying because drying is a critical post-harvest activity to preserve the quality. So we have a belt dryer. We're doing also the project on fluidized bed drying for rice, which efficient and faster compared to the conventional drying that we're using. So right now we also have this is also a PICARD funded project. We're developing a combined harvester for sugarcane. So this is one component of the project being funded by PICARD on the sugar industry. So that's it. What I want to emphasize really, I hope I was able to share my presence. There really is a need for us to improve our competitiveness, especially with the coming ASEAN integration. There's a need for our agricultural sector to adapt the cheese in terms of quality and in terms of production cost. We cannot, I think, do away with mechanization. So despite all that is associated with the mechanization, I think we have to really adapt these technologies because it's the only way that we will be competitive. And also, it's also that we can raise our productivity to attain okay, so
Thank you, Engineer Rex L. Dilabi. For this moment in time, we would like to invite our participants to ask mics located at the right, center, and aisles. Do we have any questions? Okay, so we have our ushers also over our mics to entertain questions. Okay, so we have there.
Uh, Hello, good afternoon, sir. With regards to the solutions that you illustrated on the localizing machines, I just really want to ask about while waiting for the to to come, is the government working on revising taxation of imported machines and materials for the small farm mechanization, or working for the small farm mechanization taxation of the imported machines?
With regards to taxation, there are exemptions that the importers can avail if what they're importing. I'm not just familiar if the tax exemption is for the importers of the machine. I mean, for the distributors of the machines or for the end user. I think it's for the end user. We have we can the end users, meaning the farmers, can apply for tax exemptions if they would be importing directly this imported machineries. But I'm just not familiar with the mechanics. But there is a window which the farmers can apply when you're talking of tax exemptions.
Okay, and another question, sir, is Filmic currently doing for some standardization of farm machinery for export markets?
For export market, ang concern kasi natin ngayon is provision of the requirement of the local. So what we're looking at is the needs of the local industry first. But in doing that, as I mentioned a while ago, we have to ensure that what we would be providing is machines that would meet the standards of the international quality standards. So in effect, we are also preparing for future export. In fact, happened in Japan, Korea, and also in Thailand. They or the local needs. Then after that, they started to export.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Much. We would like to ask those who will be asking questions to please state their name first and their affiliation. Thank you.
Hello, Julius Sempio from UP Diliman. I'd also like to ask if that Filmic is primarily concerned with post-harvest technologies, but it's also Filmic in somehow somewhat involved in pre-harvest or in other pre-harvest technologies, for example, irrigation. Because from the farmers that I have interviewed for my thesis, their primary concern would be sources of water. And well, second would be corruption, but their primary concern would be of sources of water because they claim that when water is sufficient, they would be able to produce as much as thrice the rice production for their
Yes.
for their seasons.
Okay, so under the Department of Agriculture, there are other agencies that handles irrigation, particularly the National Irrigation, which now is, well, not under the Department of Agriculture, but under the Secretary Pangilinan, and also the PSWM, Bureau of Soil and Water Management. So those are the two agencies that are handling irrigation concerns. So if they have concerns on irrigation, they can go to those agencies. So Filmec is more mechanization of farm production and post-harvest.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we have another question.
LMUP Diliman. If an industry is interested to avail of your mechanical equipment, such as the dryer, how will they be able to avail of such equipment?
Okay, so as I've said, we're into research and development. So if in our protocol, once we've developed a technology, then we find a private manufacturer to commercialize this, to produce this for commercialization. So we can, if you're interested in a particular technology, provide you with the names of our local manufacturers, and you can buy this directly from them, not through us, because we just developed the technology. Then later on, we pass it.
Yes, for our question. Sir.
Hello. Yeah, my name is yes, the corporate secretary of Cocoa Foundation of the Philippines. Cacao now is considered a high value, and right now there is a shortage of 300,000 metric tons per year, and by the year 2020 there'll be a shortage of beans for the world market. What we are doing now is encourage people to plant. And as of now, we're doing training how to plant cacao. But what we are asking now is also, number one, that's harvest, which, by the way, some of those already with Pilmec providing us dryers, and still continuously experimenting on how to do it efficiently. But as we go on planting cacao, we are trying companies or individuals to process them into high value, making them into chocolate themselves. No? At present, we don't have any local or efficient machine post-harvest like making the local tablea. We don't have the the winnower, the grinder, the some other. To prepare for that, probably what we could do is we ask that your assistance in making this equipments available so that we could have a value added chocolate products to market.
Yes, sir. We're actually, you're right, we're actually doing a project on cacao, but it's more on the drying, fermentation, and well, I guess now we have to move forward to the next processing stage, which is on the production side of cacao. But the project is ongoing naman, sir, so I think we can proceed to the induction.
Due to time constraint, we can only entertain one more question from Dr. Agulto of CLSU.
Thank you very much. CLSU po. Kapitbahay tayo. I guess Philmec also knows that the use of combined harvester thresher displaced so many non-land farmers. Only waiting for that season to have it, not for profit, but something to eat. There are many. What's happening now? There are businessmen, they are not farmers, who can buy those combined harvester threshers for custom hiring. And I guess the government is not doing much about those displaced labor. Later on, there will be big problem, social problem, I suppose. That's my yeah.
Yes, actually, it really was unexpected on the part of DA when we talk about the combined harvester, because when we introduced the combined harvester, the concept of the farm mechanization program, one of the concept or the idea is to have these landless farmers pull together, provide the machineries, and they would in turn be service providers. So that's the concept. However, when the harvesters came, a lot of the private sector realized that these combined harvesters, the business of combined harvesting can be very profitable, and they started buying the private sector. They started buying these combined harvesters, and they offered this to service the farmers. So medyo naunahan yung purpose sana of having the local farmers uh, being group and becoming a service provider. As I've said, we're trying to, kasi medyo mahirap naman pigilan yung private investing, but we're doing other things to address, like for example, providing alternative like along the, because yung combined harvesting, another, I mean, another other you still have other processes where they engage, like value adding, processing. So as I mentioned, yung localization of the technologies would provide opportunities. However, we recognize na hindi siya immediate. It's not an immediate. It would take some time because you have to train them for the proper skills that they would need if they would eventually go into manufacture. And right now we're doing some projects on the training them on how to do, and they can service the combined harvesters that are available. So, pero admittedly, hindi siya, sir, madali. So, it would take some time before we can really address completely the issue of labor displacement.
Thank you very much, sir, for this. Without further ado, let us proceed to the awarding of plaque and token of appreciation. We call on Dr. Aura Machas again. And to read the content of our plaque, the Department of Science Education Institute, Engineering Research and Development for Technology presents this plaque of appreciation to Engineer Rex L. Bingabing for his unconditionally sharing his invaluable thoughts and expertise during the 4th ERDT Congress with the theme of Agriculture and Energy for Inclusive Growth. Given this 20th day of July 2014 at the SMX Convention Center, Pasay City, Philippines, signed by Dr. Aura C. Machas, Dean of the UP College of Engineering and Program Leader of ERDT. We are very much challenged, but there is really a deep need for us engineers and innovators, researchers to be able to help our society and community. And with that, our previous speaker mentioned about the agriculture, especially as we come to the ASEAN network, we would be competing with our counterparts in the Asian region. So it is timely that we have our next speaker. Our next, his doctoral degree in the agricultural engineering from the Michigan State University. He earned both his master's degree and BS in agricultural engineering from Kyoto University. Currently, he is Professor Emeritus at Mie University. He also serves as the Assistant to Secretary General of the CIGR, International Commission of Agriculture and Biosystems Engineering Institute. Research include energy conversion and environment management for biomass, agricultural engineering and agro-industry and developing countries, physical properties of biological products for bioproduction and rural industry development. He has also been involved in various international projects and consultancies and has published numerous well-cited academic papers. Let us welcome Dr. from Japan.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for a very good introduction. I'm very pleased, and also I like to something is actually my career started in 1967 when I was working at the International Rice Research Institute in the Philippines, Los Baños. I stayed there for, and at that time, I remember very unforgettable memory, many good memories, and actually I was there also to study university. Anyway, at that time, there was a very popular song. You know the name? Dahil Sayo. This very lovely song I remember. I still remember and I can sing. if you are me, then to sing when I have time after the presentation. But I don't know. Anyway, I'm supposed to speak something about agriculture and mechanization in Asia. Well, actually, I have Asian country, many countries actually, mostly I'm interested in mechanization and the evolution of farming systems. So I visited Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Laos, and sometimes Myanmar. And I was a former president of Association of Agriculture Engineers. And I'm very happy to be here to talk about agriculture mechanization. Okay, let's see what I have next. Okay, I say a little bit about Asian regions, mechanization, farming operations and types, labor requirement, and the labor productivity, and also sequence of mechanization in Japan. And also I like to talk a little bit about emerging technologies in mechanization. Okay, next. Okay, just a little bit about the historical and cultural differences. I put several countries, including Philippines, Thailand, Laos, Myanmar, Indonesia, Malaysia. There are differences. Main religion, Philippine, Catholic, in language, English, and maybe Tagalog. Independence, 1898 from Spain and 1946 from the USA. And they have been independent, but they Thailand and Laos and the Buddhism. And actually, Thailand and Laos is almost same. But so, and then there are some historical next. This is just a comparison of the population. I'm just selecting similar population and the area is somewhat Philippines, Thailand, Japan. We have free economy, but Myanmar is controlled. I am not sure how they are controlling, but complicated situation. Growth rate and is 1.1 to 2%. Japan is not very good. Japan growth rate has 1% sometimes for the past 20 years. You believe? I have to believe that. But anyway, income level now more than $3,000. Thailand a little bit ahead. Myanmar is much low. Japan is enough, but our population is decreasing, and this has been that for about 20 years. So many people are not happy with situation. Anyway, I remember when I was here, I mean Los Baños, in 1967, Philippines was far ahead of income is up. But then the situation changed. But anyway, you are recovering. Next. What's the problem in Asia? Energy, foods, and environment. Some political, I don't see. We have this. Okay, next. What is mechanization? This is technology to reduce labor requirement, labor productivity, and also increase land productivity and soil, water, and further resource management. By better management, we can labor by especially precision agriculture. And also safety, robot safety, and maybe mechanization reduce, improve farm safety, and protect environment. Next. Okay, you are familiar with land transplanting, field management, harvesting process. Field management include many things, including fertilizer, herbicide, pesticide, and also water control. Many management. This thing is just timeliness is very important. You, in order not to lose, you have to have very timely harvesting and processing also. Next. Okay, just I'd like to say I family all of in the past. Rice farming. This is just very and operations. Okay, next. To show requirement for cultivation to mechanize one. This is done all manual, clearing. This is weeding and felling, sowing by hand, weeding, harvesting by hand using a small hand knife, and total 700 hours, but area is barn, maximum maybe 1 ton or so. So, okay, next. Then, when you come to the wetland rice, this is also done by, when it's done by manual and animal. Clearing, weeding 200 hours per hectare, and other planting, weeding, harvesting. Total is 1,300. In this case, usually you have two per hectare. Okay, next. Okay, this is major farming out of the night or even after, mostly manual and animal power we're using. Only thing is thresher and huller has been have been introduced at the early stage in 1945. And 1960 they started to introduce power tiller and more thresher and huller this time. And 1971 they started to introduce more tractor, means four-wheel tractor, and and this was the 1990. Very many tractors and combines, but power tillers and others decreasing, as you see in the next graph, maybe. Okay. Okay, here you see the increase. In 1971, a tractor, four-wheel tractor and combine started to increase. And then this power started to decrease and very much decreasing. And whereas here they started okay, so you see the sequence. Okay, next. So mechanization sequence in 1930s, thresher and hurrah is introduced. This is value adding, not labor saving. And in 1960, into labor saving. This is the time where when we got realization started to recovering. Then in 1970s, combine and transplant. This is just save labor. Got the labor shortage, industrialization. Next. So labor requirement for rice in Japan just changed like this. About before 1930, this much. All manual and animal power. Up to 1930, changes thresher and hurrah. 90s, power tiller and tractor and dryer. And 1970s, they introduced combine and transplant. Then to the continuous planter and the tractor. Then now about 300 hours per hectare and fully mechanized, or I should say over mechanized. Too much machinery in the field. And a good way. Industrialization supported the agriculture in Japan, not the other way around. Japan was the pioneer of industrialization in Asia and copied the development in the USA. This was the 90 Meiji. And Japan imported, not actually imported, engineers to invited US, European country, and send our engineers or technicians abroad for training and education. We invited these engineers with actually high salary, And we actually, after that, and then after them. Next. Okay, then Japan became the center for Asia in terms of precision metal manufacturing. And young people in the rural area, they prefer the industry because of the and this triggering labor shortage and the need for mechanization. This happened in 1970. Okay, next. Okay, by the on the contrary, the Philippine situation, you started the 1950s when Quirino focused on the industrial development and made Philippines second economic power in Asia. This is 1970, when I was in Los Manos. I remember many things, but this time Philippines are far ahead of many other Asian countries, I think. And industrialization was not sustained, and agriculture became the employment sink, unfortunately. Next. So former President Marcos attempt to receive industrialization, but it was not to the poor, because industries are not well developed, unfortunately. Next. Okay, let's see. Future direction of agricultural mechanization is two things: precision agriculture and robotics. Next. Agriculture. This is to protect soil, water, and environment as a cost saving. Application of fertilizer or pesticide or only at the right place, right time, and with the right amount to the plant and soil, so you don't pollute environment in any way. Usually we are applying much more than needed by the soil or plants. Next. Okay. Here, this is just precision farming at Kyoto University. Here you see this chemical analysis to get soil map of how the soil is fertile. In this case, yeah, the white part is not fertile. This part is fertile. And after getting soil map, next step. Okay, next. Some uniform application of fertilizer next. And next, then we see the plant growth map. We get the plant growth map. So here the center growth is not very good. And this is a plant growth map. This lay up next. Okay, this fabric application map to be processed by the computer next month. Send the information to the variable rate application. They change the amount of fertilizer depending upon the sites, you see. So top part is not very fertile. They are applying more fertilizer here, and the other just half of them. This has a variable rate application. Okay. Next. So when you get, they have a yield measurement sensor and to have a yield map. Next. The yield map showing that quite evenly distributed. So this kind of precision farming, you can save fertilizer and you can save the environment also. Next. Okay, robotics, you know already, but this is labor saving and heavy, dangerous operation, and increase market value because you produce uniform products. Next. Okay, here you have field works initiative. It's very schematic. Here you have variable rate filter. Also here you have autonomous vehicle carrying fertilizer or sometimes carrying harvested product. You have autonomous vehicle here and here, and here you have group control. It's controlling combine. One manned combine is controlling 3 unmanned combines at the same time. And also here you have GPS to communicate, and combine equipped with yield monitor. So this combine during always monitoring the yield depending upon the rates or sites. Okay, next. This is autonomous combine robot. Okay, here you have a camera to see the automatic unloading system. This is a combine, by the way. This is just a small transport vehicle, and then here this combine has a GPS, compass, GPS antenna, and some other equipment, and control the all the operations. The remote monitoring system for robot. There are many types of robots. Next, this is grain yield monitor. This combine has grain flow sensor and also moisture sensor and information processing informatics to have this is grain yield map. So this is the area in meter about to this area. They have the yield map. So this for further application next time. Okay, this is cooperative control manual combined for rice harvesting. Already I explained this combined was more time. Okay, then here you have the office to monitor combined operations and monitoring the operation transport and also this is show the autonomous is the harvesting robot. It's very heavy, so they are developing this watermelon harvesting robot. In the Philippines, there are many young people strong enough may not need this watermelon harvesting robot. This mandarin orange by Kubota company, and this is orange harvester developed by University of Florida, and this is orange harvester by another company, and grape harvesting Okayama University. Next. Okay, problem in the future. Energy and food, environment, or political situation, uncertainties. Next. Okay, collaboration through various partners in Asia. Emphasize the best partnership can be established between the Philippines and Japan, since they are in the very right position in many ways, as you see in the next table. This shows complementing relationship between the Philippines and Japan. Okay, service and management, Philippines is excellent. Japan may be fair. Manufacturing, Philippines, fair. Japan is excellent. Domestic market, Philippines expanding. Japan is shrinking. English, you're excellent. This is very necessary in the future anyway. Japan is fair. We should improve more. Okay, next. Okay, this is some collaboration projects that I've been involved in. Recently, I got the rice house gasification, carbonization, power generation, joint collaboration. Brown rice consumption is more nutritious, and this is very good for the health. And the third one is designed at Erie and commercialized by a Japanese company. This is a very long time back when I was there. Anyway, this company still I'm associated. I have future production in and maybe selling, producing in the Philippines and selling in the world, maybe in the future. Next. Next. Okay, just like it mentioned, biomass and green energies. This is a challenge. Okay. Now, presently, I'm assistant to Secretary General of CIGR, and I'll show the explain LGR next. This is International Commission of Agriculture and Biosystems Engineering. Next. The purpose is to have sustainable biological production systems and to have advancement of engineering and allied sciences. And CIGR, I think, is going to be very in the future for Japan or Philippines. Next. Okay, just next. From biomass, solar, wind, hydrostatic, thermal. The energy related fixation of solar energy, biomass, solar, wind. Only geothermal is different. I just like to mention a little bit about geothermal next. This is a very good technology. The Philippines, I'm very pleased to say, Philippines is the world's second largest producer of geothermal energy. And this has a great potential in many developments, and including many small plants. Heat can be used for rice drying and many other agricultural use also. Next. Okay, this is a site-specific energy or site-specific system. So very much suited for small and medium enterprise. And institutional system to be established. This is important. Various partnership and support. Okay, next. Okay, now is the time for you to make challenges. Your future is long enough. So good luck. My future is too short. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Makoto Hoki, for sharing with us the status of agricultural mechanization in Asia, its history. I also believe that it should be the other way around, that that will support and robotics and computer application are increasing the efficiency and achieving sustainability in agriculture. Now, again, to continue with the program, the floor is now open for your questions. Kind hands, and let the usherettes and ushers assist you for the first question. Yes.
Mic test. Good afternoon, Professor
Yes,
Hoki.
yes.
I'm James Cabildo from Central Luzon State University. I very much admired your presentation because you are very familiar with the situation of the Philippines when agriculture and industrialization.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Why the reason why in the past years we were the second from the top, but now we are second from the bottom. Now my question, Professor, is in your assessment, are we not enough plenty scholars in engineering, in the engineering program? With this program of the government of the Philippines, are we in the right track? Or meaning, what's the best thing that Philippines should do so that more to the place where we belong last time
Yeah.
in terms of agricultural industrialization? Do you really want us to, if you have your unmanned or robotics harvester, four-wheel tractors, for that matter, we have also our own village type tractor, our own kuliglig. Do you also recommend that in the near future we have a kuliglig that is so that the operator will just sit down under the tree and holding a joystick or a remote control like farming, like using the farm bill in farming? Thank you.
Yes, yes, I'm very pleased. Good question. I think it's very much possible, but the first thing you have to do to have a very good relation with Japan. Okay. Yeah, this is very important. We share many things actually. Philippines is a very democratic country, and Japan is also democratic and very free countries. And it's not easy for any country and free. You see, many other countries not so democratic, you know. And well, now Korea and maybe some other countries, there are some countries very free, but Thailand, I don't want to criticize Thailand. I like Thailand, but anyway, not so democratic compared to Japan and the Philippines. So I like the Philippine system very much, and this is a way for us to go in the future. any people in the world should be going to the way that we are doing. So I think I hope to have a good partnership, including public-private and private-private relationship. Even Japanese small manufacturing countries, as I said, they don't have the ability to do some marketing and English communication you have. But they cannot come. So I think first thing is to have a very good partnership. To start with a small thing, we should start one step by step with a small project and gradually going up. I think we should have better communication each other in the near future, I hope. Maybe no time.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Again, let's round of applause. We can now proceed for another question.
If no question, I can sing, but it's not allowed.
Oh yes, we have another question at the back.
Good afternoon, Professor Hockey. This is Julius Sempio again from UP Diliman. I would like to ask, speaking of partnerships with, for example, between Philippines and Japan, are the Japanese willing, for example, to welcome Philippine engineers and Japanese sent engineers to the United States and Europe for studying and coming back here to are also the Japanese willing to share the transfer? And another thing, are those robots that been featured in your presentation, what powers them? Are they solar powered or are they still powered by gasoline for environmental concern purposes, sir?
I'm not quite understanding your question simply.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Is Japan willing to teach the Philippines their technologies, to share their technologies to the Filipinos?
Anyway, what I think is maybe engineers, retired engineers, retired from private company. They have nothing to do. And no market in Japan. They are just, boring. I think you should invite these people to the Philippines and let them work. They have enough experience. I'm sure this will work. Yeah. This happened in Japan. And after using them, you return them.
Suggestions, sir. Actually,
did I answer your question?
Of course, interesting suggestion.
Thank you again, Dr. Hockey, for the wonderful answers to the questions. Again, for our last question, let us call on Dr. Lentin for this topic.
Good afternoon, everybody, and Dr. Makoto. Dr. Makoto is a longtime friend of mine because he worked at ERI for 2 years. Now, before the promise of singing dahil sa iyo, I'll ask you first.
Yeah, simple question, please.
In your historical account of industrial during Industrial Revolution, it took 70 years from 1960 to about 1930, that's my calculation, to develop the capability of manufacturing weapons of war.
Yes.
Aircraft carrier, no helicopter yet, but artillery that demolished corridor, and also materials for war. Now, you sent engineers. After the war, I learned that Japan had a new constitution prohibiting the army.
Yes.
And so they were prohibited in designing and manufacturing weapons.
Yeah. Yes.
What did they do after that? Those good engineers,
Yeah.
you know, to fight America. I heard from you
Yeah.
also a story.
Actually, our prohibit to have any military force, and also after just right after the war to military, and also they prohibited to produce airplane, including commercial airplane. They did not allow to produce even commercial airplanes. So we have been very much behind it. We are neighbor. But now, so what happened for the engineers designing fighters, for example? They just have to come down to the agriculture, or maybe home appliances, or agricultural machinery. So when I studied at the university, my professors are not agriculture engineer, mechanical engineer, or the design engineer of the airplane. And these many engineers moved to these home appliances or agricultural machinery company, or university, to teach how to produce agricultural machinery and others. This accelerated the mechanization of Japanese agriculture. Did I answer?
Yes, very good. So that also accelerated the economic development of Japan. Just imagine being, sorry to say, being defeated in war and rising from the war to the first, to an economic power in Japan in maybe 15 years only. So you got a cadre of design, not lawyers like in the Philippines. To develop your industries.
Yeah, we don't have enough lawyers.
I heard that Japan did not have, or does not have even, the resources that the Philippines have in mines and ores, and that you imported ores from the Philippines and junk from the US and made them into weapons of war and attacked the US. I hope one power bullying the Philippines will not do the same, and we should wake up for this. They have a mining concession in Mindanao, and because of our activists in environment, that they should not spoil the environment. The China, well, that power made a deal. We will get all the soil and the ore, and we will process them in China. Now, what is happening? I'm not. I'm just speculating. Is China really processing that soil, or using it for reclaiming this Prattlish, making a runway and then attack the Philippines? Let us not be beguiled. We should be smarter than, because war is really deception. You have to deceive your opponent, just like in any game. You have to deceive the opponent, like in a tennis player deceiving his opponent, not cheating, deceiving. So you must, in order to win. Okay, thank you for my best friend. Now you can sing your Dahil Sa'yo.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lentin. Thank you very much, Dr. Hoke. Now, to proceed with our program, may we award this plaque and token of appreciation to be awarded by Dr. Au Matias. The Department of Science and Technology, Science Education Institute, Engineering Research and Development for Technology present this plaque of appreciation to Dr. Makoto Hoki for unconditionally sharing his invaluable thoughts and expertise during the fourth year of the theme Agriculture and Inclusive Growth, given this 20th at the SMX Convention Center, Pasay City, Philippines, side by Dr. Aura C. Matias, Program Leader of ERDT. For our final topic, our speaker will be discussing LiDAR and geospatial applications for agriculture and land resources management. Our speaker, Dr. Ariel C. is the program leader of Phil LiDAR 2 program. Dr. Ariel Blanco earned his doctoral degree in environmental informatics from the Tokyo Institute of Technology and his master's degree in geographic information systems City of Melbourne. His BS engineering at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Currently, he is professor at Diliman College of Engineering. He serves as the chairman of the Department of Geodetic Engineering and director of the UP Training Center for Applied Geodesy and Programmetry. He is also the program leader of Phil LiDAR 2 program, which aims to produce detailed resource maps using light detection and ranging for various applications such as production of high-value crops, irrigation assessment, culture production, forest, and discovery of renewable energy resources. Recent salinity, intrusion, urban water quality, geospatial analysis of poverty, damage potential mapping, and development of decision support systems for coastal environment. Let us help me welcome Dr. Ariel C. Blanco. Let us give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much. I will be presenting an entire LiDAR source management. So I come from engineering and also training center for applied College Philippines. So the outline of my presentation as follows. So I will briefly introduce what is needed for the agricultural resource assessment and inventory. I will briefly discuss the Field LiDAR 2 program, which is the big program funded by the DOST. And also, I will focus on the mapping of agricultural areas using LiDAR and other remote distance data. And we'll deal briefly with the beyond resource mapping. And then I will discuss some issues towards sustainability, and then I will provide a summary. So currently, we are doing the Field LiDAR 2 program. This is basically an offshoot of the DREAM program, or the Disaster Risk and Exposure Assessment for Mitigation, which started 3 to 4 years ago. So the DREAM program became two programs. So the Field LiDAR 1 2. So the Field LiDAR 1 continued the legacy of the DREAM program by focusing on acquiring detailed resources or detailed maps, survey models using LiDAR technology. So listed here are the different Field LiDAR 1 projects: the data acquisition, the validation, the calibration of those data sets, as well as the extraction of the digital elevation models, surface models, for LiDAR data acquisition, processing, validation, and so on, the flood modeling component. So the statistics are a little bit outdated because there are more than 100,000 square kilometers already that have been covered by the DREAM or the Field LiDAR program in terms of the around lives across the country. So you can see in the map the coverage of LiDAR areas, particularly focusing on the floodplain areas or the flatter areas. So now what is the need for the detailed resource assessment? So typically, if you ask, for example, how many areas are planted to sugarcane? How many areas are planted to coconut or other crops? Nobody have a very Philippines. They have a good statistic for sugarcane. Somehow they need some assistance. The SRA For the Philippine Coconut Authority, they would also need detailed spatial technology. So we are aware that the RING program basically was conceived because of the different hazards that can be translated into disasters once exposure and vulnerability come into occur. And this might result in loss of lives and properties, but also destruction of resources, which of course will affect consequently the lives of our fellow men. So this severely impacts poverty alleviation measures by the government, food security, economic growth, and energy supply. So therefore, what we need is also, we have to address the information gaps in order to mitigate also disasters. So what resources exist where? What are the characteristics and status of these resources? Are they still productive resources are exposed and vulnerable to hazards? Protect and conserve these resources. Detailed information are needed by government agencies as much as the local government units for the better planning and decision making. So the Field Ladder 2 program was conceived in order to complement ongoing programs of the different agencies, not to compete but to complement the programs being conducted by the A, the NR, DOE, to name a few, by utilizing LiDAR data. So we are developing different methodologies or workflows for extracting research from LiDAR and other remote distance data for the following applications. We are interested in the production of high-value crops, irrigation assessment, coastal resources, and forest and renewable energy. So we are going to produce, or we are producing already, high-resolution maps. And then we will move on our third year to produce vulnerable. The other two projects are listed as follows. So I'm heading the program, but focusing primarily on the agricultural resource assessment, or my team is called the farm, which the name is Philippine Agricultural Resource Map project. We also have Coast Map, PH Renewable. Those mentioned, for example, we are 6 in energy more those, continually improving it with the help of the different Visayas and Mindanao. So we are not implementing or applying the workflows we have developed. Universities are tackling projects 1 to 5, or selectively only projects 1 or 1 to 4, and so on, depending on the resources that are available to the. So here you are seeing a map shown of the being made by the different universities, and we can see that a number are ERDT universities, including Mapua, UP Los Baños, University of San Carlos, and so these are the basic terms of the regions of responsibility. And then we have good collaboration with different agencies meant to complement the existing just Department of Agriculture and the DENR. So now I will be presenting more how we do mapping of agricultural areas using LiDAR and other remote sense data. So I say that we also use other remote sense data such as optical imagery or Landsat, and even later the free images, the SAR images that will be downloading from the SO. Because the LiDAR data were taken maybe during periods where you don't have so much agricultural areas, and this should be complemented by other remote sense data. Also stands for light detection and ranging, laser pulses in order, and also systems such as inertial navigation unit and positioning systems such as DNSS in order to determine the positions of millions of and that we are basically the depth per square meter. This can be increased, it can be further increased depending on the need, but typically this is the one used in order to satisfy the requirements of FILIDAR 1 and FILIDAR 2. And in addition, there is a camera taking the optical imagery or aerial photos, and these are auto-rectified using the data, elevation data sets collected using the LiDAR systems. So I will show to you the different appearances of the crops such as coconut trees, how they appear as point cloud images or in perspective in top view, and even the LiDAR intensity or the strength of the LiDAR return or the laser return that is detected by the systems. So this is for coconut. So this is the perspective view. And then this is the intensity. So this is for mango. You can see clearly the count perspective, and then this is the intensity. For banana, and then for rice, you can see clearly how it appears. So basically, it resembles a three-dimensional view by the differently positioned millions of points. And then for sugarcane. In addition, LiDAR point clouds, we are using LiDAR-derived features such as the digital surface model or the height of the surface, plants or features such as trees, land areas. But also we feature or filter this data set in order to create the digital terrain models or just the terrain, just the topography. And subtracting these two, we can have the normalized digital surface model, which shows the relative heights of the different features. So we can say that height we can use as a to distinguish low and vegetation or low and high vegetation, such as maybe sugarcane against rice, against crops such as agricultural trees, such as cacao or coconut and other trees. We are also using intensity. So intensity is the strength of the return of the signal. So as much as that we are more familiar when we take, for example, like cameras or camera pictures, and also on the optical imagery. From this data, we generate a number of indices in order to extract different parameters or different features. So we are using, for example, the heraldics gray level co-occurrence measures, so homogeneity, and other measures such as contrast, from the ortho image, from the intensities, and then from the different LiDAR derivatives. No? And then we use those features in order to, so basically we have to generate a lot of layers, think of what we can order to generate or to discriminate between the different cover features, height, texture measures, color, and different other parameters that you can think of. So these are examples of the processing outputs so far produced by the group, showing the high correspondence or agreement between the, say, an orthophoto, a high resolution image, and they include these road, corn, build-up areas, airlines, and so on, and follow areas. Sample maps showing predominantly rice crops in Concepcion, Tarlac, and also, of course, we combine light in order to map, in this case, coconut in Masbate. So these are examples of small areas we are using in order to develop the workflows. And the universities are free to or to enhance or refine those workflows as different areas that they are working on. So there's also a challenge that orthophotos are not available because planes have to take the pictures or take the surveys, do the surveys during dawn, or we have low light conditions. So we have work only on LiDAR datasets and to obtain good accuracy, acceptable accuracy, even without the use of color information arising from the color images. So far, I will not deal with this much on the methodology, but all of these features that we are using, color transformed images, including indices such as the green-red vegetation index, also the LiDAR intensity, the LiDAR normalized digital source model, and other features like number of returns of the different, for example, if you have just one return, normally it's just a solid object. But if you have multiple returns, that means it's a vegetation. It can be a tree, it can be a crop, agricultural crop. So normally we start with those features and try to compress or select which features will be useful for selecting or for mapping different resources. And we use what we call the object-based image analysis or OBIA. So similar to how we saw images. We see images and then we use our image interpretation cues such as size, texture, shape, and so on in order to classify. So those is the higher level of classification compared to the pixel-based classification. Results will attain more than 90% accuracy. So typically, we are surprised by the different universities when they apply together and achieve 4% accuracy based on the training areas and the validation data sets. So I would like to emphasize that we have invested so much in the training or the capacity building, capability building, because all of those universities do not have, say, prior experience in remote sensing on GIS. Some we have GIS, but not in remote sensing and so on. And then all have different players, a lot from the natural sciences. So biology, agriculture, there are people from the engineering, but they are communication engineering and other engineering courses like civil engineering. So we have to do a lot of capability building. We roam around the different incorporating, starting with the basic remote sensing, basic GIS, and also now we are monitoring the performance of the different universities in the application of the different workflows. So recently we have conducted a 5-day basic GIS training for SUSs and HI at the College of Engineering. These are the GIS training courses on the applications for the ParaMap and COASTMAP team. So in classroom presentations or discussions are also joint field validation or collection. Example, we visited different areas such as sugarcane, mangoes, and rice areas, as well as coconut trees or different combinations of that one, including pineapple. So the team is also very active in exchanging ideas, exchanging experiences in the implementation of the program, exchanging experiences in the, say, selecting additional features that might involve the workflows. So we have program-wide and cluster colloquiums. So this makes sure that we address every technical issue and every logistical issue that might be of concern to the universities. So far we have 2 from the Luzon cluster. We have already, I think there's another coming from the Mindanao cluster, and the Visayas 3 cluster colloquiums. And pretty soon we will be having another program-wide colloquium. So this is how accurate or how detailed the maps that we are producing. So I'm not saying that the Namirian uncover map is inaccurate, but it's appropriate for certain applications. But we can see here the detail that is being mapped using LiDAR data. So here in the lower map, we can see areas such as built up, areas such as annual crop. But on top, we can see corn, mango, rice, and trees. And if we try to do some analysis, you can see that the annual crops presented in the general map is consisting of corn and bare areas. Of course, that bare area might be planted to corn or might be planted to rice and other things. So at the moment we are mapping, we are focusing on agriculture, what we can see from the images. But we will proceed to developing the agricultural land use, taking into consideration how the cropping in different areas changes. So in some areas you have cropping between rice and corn. Sometimes it's always rice, or sometimes it's always corn. The same with the perennial crops, are mainly mango, corn, trees, and so on. And then areas that are considered built up in the general map have some elements including mango, corn, and bare areas included in the category. So we are working also on utilizing different images such as Landsat and LiDAR data, and also utilizing free images such as Landsat. However, of course, the resolution is limited to just 30 meters. You can punch sharpen it down to 15 meters, and you might be able to achieve a similar accuracy. But essentially, you can have a more detailed classification compared to the generalized general land cover map of 2010. So this shows some examples of the product. So in our agricultural resource mapping, we have 3 levels. Level 1 is basically the general level, akin or similar to the natural land cover map. We have level 3, which is the primary product, consisting of the very detailed mapping of those resources. So this is a product from CLSU, from Mindanao, Mariano Marcos State University, from Neo Dinaga University, showing primarily rice areas. From Visayas State University, you can see clearly the correspondence between the orthophoto in the different maps. And then we have the Central Mindanao University and so on. Improves for using LiDAR derivatives only because there are a lot of areas with no orthophotos. So we have to work on improving the LiDAR derivatives or the workflow for utilizing only LiDAR derivatives. So here we have a series of test areas for the agno area. So basically we have performed some separation between the high and tall areas, non-ground and ground areas, and then utilize objects for the segmentation, or features for the segmentation, and classifying those segments using the support vector machines. Example of the orthophoto is shown here. So this area has orthophoto. We opted not to use orthophoto in order to test the quality of the workflow if it is only applied to LiDAR only. So you have the MLK or the KLM series. So this basically, there's one municipality covering that is fully covered by this series, and that is Santa Barbara municipality in Pangasinan. So we can see that from this LiDAR, we can derive a lot of derivatives that are necessary in order to discriminate different agricultural features. It may be statistics such as kurtosis, or the average, or the standard deviation, or even the skewness of the different LiDAR point distribution. It can also be a transformation of the different LiDAR derivatives using principal components analysis and different things to really experiment on what we can extract from the raw or LiDAR data and transform them into data layers that will be able to support discrimination of the different features. So this is an example of the map derived from after application of the object-based image analysis and the results and so on. So we can see here that if we also use LiDAR intensity, there's a challenge that a particular flight strip. So here you have 4, 1, 3, and 2, but you can see that flight strip number 1 is lighter. So that means the overall distribution is quite different from 3 flight lines. So we have to separate the processing of those differently distributed LiDAR intensities using the same approach, and then we can come up for the Santa Barbara municipality with an accuracy of around, I think, 94% in terms of mango, plantations, rice, trees, coconut, and so on. So these are, again, showing the outputs in the maps that we will be turning over to the local government units, UP Cebu, UP Mindanao, Caraga State University, and we will be having our first maps turnover ceremony this July 22. So we are challenging ourselves that we will not wait for the project to be completed. We will have every 6-year turnover of our maps, starting with agricultural maps, and then this coming late November, all of the different components, including renewable energy, agriculture, forest, and also coastal resources, and even the hydrologic data sets. So now we are also moving beyond mapping in our applications. So of course, a part of the LiDAR 2 is the use of the agricultural land cover maps for the biomass energy assessment. So CLSU will be very much active in this area because you have a lot of rice and other agricultural areas. But we also started a project with the Climate Change Commission on the natural resource assessment. So this also includes the use of agricultural mapping in order to determine the impacts to the different to the environment, including coral reefs, seagrasses, in the areas hit by the typhoon Yolanda or Haiyan. Looking at how people are affected by the changing environment, or how they also utilize the resources in order to support their lives. So we're also discussing with regulatory administration. So they have a need for data on what is the yield that they would likely that the plantations would likely harvest. No, because sugar regulatory, as the name implies, they need information on the sugarcane yield in order to decide on how much will be for the industry, how much will be for the domestic consumption or use. Here we are discussing a field estimation system utilizing satellite and aerial images, including drone data or captured by UAVs, field data, and also meteorological come up with a prediction system of the sugar cane. So this is actually almost will continue maybe next month, right, depending on the progress of the memorandum of agreement. So now I would like to talk about towards sustainability, because normally we mention that would like to help agencies, we would like to help the LGUs. So first is there's a need to strengthen collaboration with DA and other agencies. For example, with DA, we are closely in contact with ITCAF, which is Director of Fantastico. We will be combining field LiDAR DA participatory mapping. So DA is conducting on selected regions or municipalities participatory mapping, engaging farmers, and then on the map. Of course, those participatory mapping have some issues on the boundaries and so on. But in field LiDAR 2, we need information coming from the farmers. So these two can be a better, will yield a better product, better, and then will be more useful for our users. Looking at the early turnover of maps and GIS layers to LGUs, note that we are not just turning over printouts or hard copies, but also GIS layers in terms of shape files or KMC files that they can edit, they can be guided on editing, and also incorporating details on what data are missing on those maps. So this is part of the collaboration between the LGUs and the program. Then there's just engage LGUs in collaborative activities. We normally have LGUs first, they would have limited people assigned to resource mapping. They would have less skills in the use of technology for the mapping of their resources. So in our third year, we would like to do some mentoring for them through the training centers, through the university in charge of the different regions. And our main collaboration activities is also in transforming the land cover maps into agricultural land use. So providing what crops are typically planted for the different months or seasons in a year. Of course, this will have to be validated by time series data using, for example, the MODIS and DVI or the vegetation indices, which are given every. There's also a need to establish a community-based NRA system because typically the LGUs are reliant on the projects that are implemented by national government agencies or by donor agencies such as GIZ or maybe conservation. But they themselves have to be capacitated in order to do the mapping process. So wait for another project to have a very detailed maps. But in between those maybe projects, then there's a system by which communities can take part in the updating those resources. So this we will be piloting in some key areas in Tacloban and the nearby areas. So in summary, the program has succeeded in developing workflows, and then training and mentoring is continuing. In addition, we are also doing a monitoring of activities. So we have, if there are some difficulties that are being experienced by our partner SUs and HCIs, we really go to the universities and then discuss, or they can their RAs in our lab in order to be further oriented on the workflow. And we recognize that the University of the Philippines cannot, of course, do it alone for the entire country. So the network of universities, agencies, and LGUs is very important in information gaps on natural resources, particularly in the agricultural sector. So we believe that overall this is expected to result in responsible utilization of space technologies for improved agricultural resource assessment and management of the Philippines. So with that, I end my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Blanco, for sharing with us. your expertise in LiDAR and the different management of disinformation, especially for the use of our researchers who will cultural engineering. So we want to open the floor for questions for Dr. Blanco. Please state name, affiliation.
Hello. Good afternoon once again. I am Jeffrey from Ateneo de Manila University. This is just really more about LiDAR and Metro Manila. Because it ever come across to the LiDAR people if we can use LiDAR to create a more green Metro Manila kind of thing, wherein we can map and create an ecosystem where we can have a greener Metro Manila using LiDAR. I mean, has it ever come across to your project?
Yeah. So the Philippine LiDAR program actually did not cover Metro Manila because there are not so much natural resources present. And there's also an existing LiDAR data for Metro Manila with a resolution of 1 meter, which you can request from NAMRIA. But LiDAR data in terms of the, say, green buildings and different, I mean, on the environment can be used for the resource mapping. So we can use the LiDAR data for more detailed solar energy assessment, also for wind. So I did not mention here, for example, the renewable energy, but they are working on CFD models for the urban environments, including Metro Manila. So it will be used for the mapping of maybe small areas with urban agriculture or green areas. Can also be used for solar and wind, especially in the urban areas. So the LiDAR data can also be used in order to model, for example, what affects, for example, the thermal distribution or the in thermal environment. So there is scholars, so my advice you would work on developing a 3D spatial model, determining and identifying which factors in the city would contribute to the occurrence of urban heat islands. So that we found that, for example, that the geometry of the buildings, the distribution of vegetation and concrete areas have big impact on the distribution of these thermal anomalies.
Okay, sir, another question because I'm not really familiar with environmental engineering kind of field. By the way, I'm an electronics and electrical engineering major. So I have a question: is if it's kind of possible to integrate a green build and agricultural environment for this certain field for this. I mean, we in an artificial, let's say, environment in a green Manila.
There are efforts to do some urban agriculture, urban greening, which can also be not only for aesthetic purposes or the decrease in the thermal anomalies, but also for the food production in the urban setting. So there are programs existing for supporting or promoting the use of their backyards or even agriculture, urban agriculture.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Would there be any more questions?
Hello. I do have a question. Noon. I'm Richie Nuevo, MS student, UPLB po, sir. My question is, one, how can we request the data? And I think LiDAR, Phil LiDAR are willing or is willing to provide us, particularly the raster or the shape files that we can further process in our respect. And I am also, second, I'm aware that your initial focus are the floodplains. Do we already have digital surface models and land use data for
I think first question on the use of the data. The data can be requested, and then subject to be covered by a EULA or a but it can be used for research. Even the map or So we would like to support, for example, the research of ERDT scholars in particular, in maybe because there's a lot more to be done. There's a lot more workflows or algorithms that you can discover primarily in fully utilizing this very rich data set. And then you might be able to think of other applications aside from for the areas in the case of you said yes, like most areas or fly have concentrated on the floodplain areas, but we have a lot of images, a lot of data that cover the entire Philippines. For example, the DREAM program Finlander 1 has also radar DEMs and covering the entire country with a resolution of 10 meters. Maria has 5-meter IPSAR DEM. And then all of, as I mentioned, the LiDAR data will be in tandem with freely available images. And I would like to also tell you that, for example, there will be a lot of more images will be coming. For example, the European Space Agency has a lot of satellites in place that will provide this and free radar images. So that will solve the problem of cloud cover. And also the DOST, I think next year there will be a launch of the nano satellites. There will be also the construction or the establishment of the Pedro Center or the ground receiving station for to receive the different data sets. So we expect a lot of data sets ranging from high resolution, moderate resolution, even the optical, radar, hyperspectral, and also so what the challenge for us now is to develop and in order to extract or exploit this data, but not only the algorithms, but also we have to come up with a system of really doing this operationally in the agencies, in the LGUs, and different institutions. Otherwise, we will be having a deluge of data, and then we will be not prepared maybe. But so far, with the projects being undertaken by the UST and the universities, we are confident that we will not suffer like the fate what we have in Yolanda, where a lot of data and nobody is really.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Blanco. So without further ado, forward to the awarding of plaque and token of appreciation. May we invite Dr. Aura C. Matias to award the plaque. The Department of Science and Technology, Science of Education Institute, Engineering for Technology presents this plaque of Dr. Ariel C. Blanco for unconditionally sharing his invaluable thoughts and expertise during the 4th ERDT Congress with the theme of Agriculture and Science and Technology for Inclusive Growth, given this 20th day of July 2015 at the SMX Convention Center, Pasay City, Philippines, signed Arasi Matias, Dean of Engineering and RDT. So, as I see, our snacks are already being served. And to continue on with the program, we will be having an intermission. Okay, so earlier during the program, we were already serenaded by our information about our group of singers, the Mapua Cardinal Singers, which is formerly known as the Mapua Concert Singers, is the official resident choir of the Mapua Institute of Technology Intramuros, Manila, Philippines. This group is composed of male members who are passionately dedicated to the choral art, performing under the baton of Prof. Angelito A. Ayran Jr. As not only international events, which gave them and their alma mater pride for gathering several awards since 2006. And recently, the group won another set of awards awards from the 4th International Choir Competition held in Vietnam last April 29 to 25. Award categories voice group curricular game and success. Personally, being a choir enthusiast, I invite all of us to listen and appreciate their art. Thank you.
infrastructure posters, and on your right, technology, manufacturing and machinery, semiconductor materials, and electronics. Thank you very much. Again, may we request with poster entries to go alongside with their posters to answer possible queries from the judges and other participants. Scholars with best posters will be awarded and average.
While we are doing so, we will few after the closing of our program, scholars are advised to bring home or get their posters and also of abstracts for the ERDT conference is extended until August 14, 2015. Again, we are asking our participants to so that we could proceed to the awarding of the best posters. Again, scholars are advised to bring home or get their posters. Submission of abstracts for the 11th ERDT conference until August 14, 2015. Are we ready for the awarding? Meron na po ba kayong bet kung sino ang mananalong poster for each of the categories? Talagang bet, no? We are nearing the end of our Congress and everyone is excited to know who will win the best poster for each of our categories. We would like to acknowledge the judges who gave their time and effort in order to be able to decide who will take home the much coveted award. So year the judges for the decision were leader track heads. And we, the ERDT, would like to express our gratitude to all the project leaders and R&D track heads who served as judges of the 4th ERDT Congress poster competition. Okay, so everyone seems to be interested now to know who would be winning the awards. So let's call on Dr. Erneo Agulto to make the announcements for the awards. And to award our certificates, we have Dr. Matias and Dr. Ebora to award our Best Poster Awards.
Thank you. Good afternoon once again. I have the honor to announce the winners of the poster competition. For each track, there will only be one winner. To begin with, under the agriculture sector, track, I should say, the title of the poster is Temperature Compensated Electronic Nose for Fruit Ripeness Determination Using Component Correction Principal Component Analysis, Mapua Institute of Technology, by John Victor M. Lim. Each winner will be given a certificate and a 5,000 peso prize money. Congratulations. Thank you. Next, on the energy track, the winning poster is entitled Photocatalytic Hydrogen Production of RH-doped strontium titanate thin film from complex precursor UP Diliman. Author Joseph Y. Yap IV. Joseph, are you around? Congratulations. Next, under Environment and Infrastructure track, title of poster, winning poster, wireless flood monitoring using integrated hydrological sensors and flood prediction via artificial neural network, Mapua Institute of Technology. Author, Timothy M. Amado. Wala? Any representative from Mapua? Okay, congratulations. Next, under the Information and Communications Technology track, the winning poster is Estimation in Immediate Mapping Techniques, UP Diliman. Author, Rose Ann V. Ramos. Next, under Manufacturing and Machinery track, design, winning poster is design, fabrication, performance of a potato grader for operation. Central Luzon State University, author Marvin T. Valentin. I guess Marvin is not around. So may request for any, andyan ba siya, Marvin? The advisor. Right, congratulations. And last but not the least, under the Semiconductor Materials and Electronics, winning poster, a piezoelectric energy harvesting interface circuit using negative voltage converter with active diode and DC to their Mindanao State University Iligan Institute of Kadir I. Gil, author. Monsieur, please. All right. Congratulations. Thank you.
Again, congratulations to the winners of our post. And to finally conclude our Congress, may we call on Dr. Arnold R. Elepaño, the ERDT Project Lead of the Philippines, Los Baños.
Okay, closing na. Okay, I hope that our students and colleagues have been inspired by our speakers. All sorts of challenges sa atin. No? So, Director Bingabing presented the state of our agricultural machinery. It's not too rosy. And even level of mechanization is immediately 3 horsepower, but also opportunity. So, you know, while it's low, pwedeng meron tayong magawa. Of course, Dr. Hockey gave us an overview of the available technologies in our ASEAN region. And he also reminded us that we used to be number 2 in the 70s. No? So, but I'm sure that you'll agree that we can still turn things around. And that is why we're having all this looking forward to, you know, inclusive growth through science and technology plus the engineering. The agricultural production is about 12% of our GDP. 12%. On top of that, our food and beverage industry is about 20%. If you look at those numbers, there is really opportunity in mechanization, in processing. Because if you process your raw material, then you easily add value. Then you easily improve efficiency, reduce losses. And to me, what's more important is that we add income to our farmers. So, if we really help yung agriculture natin and, you know, apply what the universities had been teaching you, hindi lang po kayo ang mabe-benefit, even yung ating mga poor farmers. No? Okay? There are technologies as presented by Dr. Madami pong pwedeng technologies na matap. Personally, I believe that technologies, no. If you look at yung mga gaps, it's more of socio-eco. May nagsabi kanina ay dapat di ko sinasabi politics or corruption. Madami pong ano eh. And kaya nga tayo nag-engineer para ma-shield to some extent sa mga socio-eco aspects, but I don't think we can really get away with, you know, while engineering is, you know, is our forte, we should not forget looking at other aspects. Right? Before I close, I'd like to actually invite you on November 16 and 17. We will have our 11th ERDT conference, and it will be co-located with IEEE plus yung Center for Sustainable Agricultural Machinery. 2 days po yan. So, also be the same, no? Agriculture and our science and technology. So yun po, we hope to see you again this November. And of course, lastly, I'd like to thank you for coming. I hope we'll all have a safe trip back home.
Thank you very much, Dr. Arnold Dilipanyo, for that wonderful closing remark.
With our Congress formally closed, I am Shela G. Ramirez, your host.
And Paula Sanchez. And we greet you. Good afternoon and have a safe trip home. Thank you very much.